It was definitely a team win. And remember, the one thing that I don't like is that we're getting now. Most of the time, what I do when we have these games, and especially the wins, I like to go to the other cities' radio stations and platforms and see what they're talking about the next day. And I'm getting way too much. Oh, this person was hurt. Oh, this person
Yeah.
was hurt. Oh, this person was. And I'm saying to myself, okay, nobody's talking about Cordero being out. Nobody's talking about us losing AJ for most of the game and Hayward most of the game. We, for the second half, we were out there with our backup secondary folks out there.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how people making excuses for San Francisco today.
Well, that's all you got left. That's all they have left.
Right.
I mean, your fan, Steve. I saw you yesterday. You were a little. I'm going to say that you were a little jacked.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
but at the beginning of the game, who else was jacked? Your fans didn't care whether those players were there or not. Okay, excuse me. The 49ers fans didn't care whether those players were there or not. They said they had enough to whoop us with the hand tied behind the back, one eye closed.
Yes, they did.
So now that little team that you undersold just whooped you up and down the field, your neck getting a little tight. You're having trouble talking. well. Hey, y'all, you're the ones that said it. You were the ones that were talking all that stuff. All right, y'all. When you have a safe flight back. If you need something to drink, we got plenty of bars in the airport.
Hey,
get on the plane and don't come back.
Look. I saw so many people leaving after that fourth down stop, man. I had to record it and put it on there for folks. I'm telling you, man. It was a beautiful sight here. And let me say hey to everybody coming in. Lisa, I see you out there because I know you were out there celebrating just as strong as I was. Our buddy Ricky is in the house. Ricky tells us, says, and tell them haters to stop belly aching because San Francisco had a full complement of offensive weapons and couldn't get past 14 points. Miss me with that player down mess. And Rick and Rick been knowing me long enough to know that that was gonna be the first thing I was gonna mention. Because last I checked, Garoppolo was there, Ayuk was there, who got the 2 touchdowns. George Kittle was there, Deebo Samuel was there. So I don't want to hear all the mess about who wasn't there yesterday. Well, if Bosa would have played, he would have sat Mariota. If Kinlaw would have played, he would have done it. No. And you know what? And if Cordero would have played, maybe we ran for 250. So we can't play that particular game, Jay. We can't do that.
Yeah. No. We never gonna play that type of game because see, Tampa Bay took that Super Bowl when you knew that Kansas City's offensive line was decimated. You know, they didn't write that on the trophy that we beat them because they didn't have all their players. We beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And it's every week in every competition and every contest. You got to go with what brought you. You know, now when you get to talking that mess, that's when the problems start because hey, you know what you bringing. Now, you the one said that y'all were so good, y'all were so tough that it didn't matter that you were missing these people, you know, but you had the money side of the ball that was healthy. The scoring side of the ball was healthy, and you couldn't do nothing against Steve. Against Battlestar Galactica, the ragtag fugitive fleet, the people, the the wannabes, the pretenders,
Do you remember the movie Airplane?
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
They had the sequel, Airplane 2, where the flight was going into space. And they had graphics in space where they had the little planet that you could see the string. They did it on purpose. So you could do. That's what our secondary looked like yesterday. We had Alfred, we had Mike Ford, we had Darren Hall. These are guys that play in the fourth quarter of preseason games. So you didn't have your healthy complement of folks there yesterday. And I'm going to get back to that point in 1 second. Let me continue to greet everybody coming in here. I see you, Darius. What's going on, man? How you doing today? Thank you for joining us. Millie Mills is on Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope they spread the word that Algier and Huntley are running at you all game. Hurts. Let me tell you something, Millie. And Jay gonna speak on it as soon as we finish running through some of these welcomes. I'm trying to tell y'all, Damian Williams might stay on that IR for a long time. If these boys continue to run like they doing now, you know CP coming back, but that running back room might be kind of crowded for Mr. Williams when he come off IR. It might be. Brian is joining us on YouTube. What's going on, brother? Lisa says, "Oh yeah, it was a Niner exodus. Love to see it." And Lisa, it was that exact point when they went for it on fourth down, and Jimmy Garoppolo thought the receiver was maybe underground and threw it straight into the ground on that play. So that was a beautiful thing to see those folks leaving. My brother Keith is in the house. He says it's good to be 3-0. Ricky say, "I saw you getting crunk." Crunk. What is crunk, Jay? What does that mean?
If you want to see what that means, you go watch Steve yesterday. Cause look, hey,
that felt so
look,
good.
Hey, Steve, you had a diehard battery on you. You had a diehard.
Dude, it was so fun. And if you saw the ushers were getting into it, shoot, we had 49er fans coming in there dancing and stuff. So
they didn't have no choice. That's all they could do.
They did. It was a couple of them came by.
They didn't have no choice. Yeah, you better get it. Hey, bro, what's up? Yeah, bro, yeah.
Oh man,
yeah, they didn't have no choice.
It was beautiful, man. What's up, Charles B? How you doing, my friend? Lisa says 3-3 is much better than 2-4. Amen to that. Brian says they sacked us twice. Yeah, and look, by 2021 and 2020 terms, that's a win with only 2 sacks on the game.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I got to give, man, you know, Steve, you and I talked about it many, many times since last year. Judging this year from what I saw last year, at the beginning of the season, as far as the offensive line was concerned, there was no way on God's green earth that I could even imagine that offensive line would be as good as it is right now. And I mean, these jokers, man, look, when I saw Arthur Smith down there drinking Bud Light with these guys, first thing I thought about was Stone Cold Steve Austin, all once again, down there drinking with the boys, because whatever they did, whatever it was that they did, man, I'm telling you, this is a totally different offensive line from what I saw last year, Steve. I mean, good grief, man. I never envisioned it.
Circle back to what you just talked about. Arthur Smith, if you saw the look on his face when he grabbed them cheap Bud Lights with them fellas, just the look of camaraderie. Look, I know we've
Yeah.
gone through the brotherhood and the all of that and stuff, and we could talk about it now and dog it out. But at the moment when it worked, it worked. But there's something about Arthur Smith that seems just kind of grounded. You know what I'm saying? Something that
genuine.
Very genuine. Very genuine.
Genuine.
And
he didn't have to. Go ahead, C. Go
no,
ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you. Go ahead. You on the roll.
No, well, what I'm saying is that, okay, when, say for instance, you're good at your job.
Right.
If you're good at your job, you don't have to toot your own horn about how good you are at your job. The people who know you, the people who have dealt with you, the people that vouch for you, they tell your story.
Right.
And that's the same thing that's going on with the Falcons right now.
Right. He
didn't have to say we got a brotherhood.
Right.
He didn't have to say it.
Nope.
You just saw it yesterday. It was just on full display that there's a camaraderie down there. And I said something about this in game 2, that it's just like it's the down by law crew. Y'all didn't expect us to do nothing. Y'all talked about us like a dog. You already buried us, and wasn't that Arthur Smith's main focus and main phrase that you always use.
How many weeks does that seem like? That seems like right.
Yeah, man. But man, hey, and that speaks to the fact that this season is flying by, Steve.
Yeah.
We in week 6 already.
Right.
This football season, man, is just flying by. Because it seemed like it was last year when we were even fussing about preseason.
I'm telling you, man, it is not stopping for anybody in this particular case. Let me see. Trying to see who this is. Some of y'all, I can't see your thing on here, so forgive me if I say Facebook user, but I don't see your name. And everybody picked the 49ers 1-2. People picked us, and look what happened. Yeah, I mean, every game.
Yep.
Billy Mills says both of them would have got truck sticked to don't matter. Ricky says don't matter with you're a professional football team that's been in the championship game with less talent and won games. Miss me with that. You got mollywop from a team that was only supposed to win 2 games. I'm going to come back to that part, Rick. Darren Hall must step up more now that Hayward's going to be out for some time. I have a sneaky suspicion that they might end up trying to find somebody else to come in that position. I don't know who's available. I don't know who's on the trade block or something like that. But I did hear Arthur Smith say they has concern about Hayward. I not to say that they don't trust the guys they have now, but you still probably need one more kind of a solid cornerback. Don't be surprised if they go on the trade block, try to find somebody who might be on an expiring contract or something like that. Ricky comes in and said we got robbed the last game, but we would have been soundly in control of the NFC South. Brother D said, what's going on, fellas? It was a great overall win yesterday from both sides of the ball. My brother Ryan Walker from the Atlanta Bird Gang, he's the host of the Bird Cage on Thursdays at 8 p.m. See him, Brother Smalls, Brother Killian, and a plethora of other co-hosts on Thursday talking about stuff. He said, what's going on, Unc? I see the P-Funk click in the house tonight. Tear the roof off the mother sucker. Why don't you know about P-Funk, man? You be reading about P-Funk. You don't know about no P-Funk.
Oh, yeah. He was told about it.
He was told about that P-Funk. He don't know that about it. You don't know that about the basement. The basement parties, brother. Blue lights in the basement. He don't know about it.
Yeah, well, hey. And see, he probably heard it growing up too, see, because now that was good cleanup. That was good cleanup music on Saturday mornings and stuff, man. I'm serious. If you gonna clean the house out or whatever, that's some good stuff to be pumping through the house.
Man,
Soul Train came on at noon too,
Man,
but yeah,
beautiful stuff.
But man. Woo. Go ahead and read the comments.
Defense only gave up 14 points. That was the point I wanted to talk to you about. Very quietly, over the last 4 games, let's talk. Seattle, 2 touchdowns. Cleveland, 2 touchdowns. The GOAT, 2 touchdowns. Yesterday, 2 touchdowns. If you have a defense that's not letting folks get into the end zone, you stay in more games. And it's just, that's just simple. They're not allowing folks to get in the end zone. And you can talk about 200 some yards passing. We can talk about between the 20s and all of that. But the bottom line is, if you allow teams to score 2 touchdowns or less in a game, you give yourself a chance to win. And that's what we've been doing, Jay.
Yeah, true. And that point right there is something that I always try to tell people, because if you look at Pro Football Reference, and I know you started pulling things from Pro Football Reference.
Yes, sir.
See, that's my Bible. That's my Bible. That's why I get my drive charts from it. Everybody just loves
me.
But the thing is that the defensive stats for ranking purposes is yards given up and scores given up. And you can have 2 different scores for 2 different rankings for the yards you've given up or the scores you've given up. But as you say, what's the most important thing? I can give up 1,500 yards, but if you didn't do anything but score 7 points, that's all that counts. Because y'all might have quote unquote drugged me up and down the field, but I didn't let you in the house.
There you go.
Okay, I did not let you in the house. When it came time for you to turn the key and go in the house, I hit you upside the head with a 2x twice, and you fell right there on the stoop. Okay? So, as long as you don't get in the house, it doesn't count. Because, see, if you look on the scoreboard, and any scoreboard you ever want to see, they got the biggest lights on what? The score of the game. That's what they pump the most electricity into. The score of the game. How many yards you had, they don't have that. They might have what quarter you're in, but the score is what counts. And if, like you say, you holding people out of the end zone, you're holding them out of the end zone. Even if you make them kick a field goal, that's a concession to the defense stopping you. Okay? That's why I want touchdowns when my offense comes out there, because, we kick field goals. Hey, man, the defense, quote unquote, won. But touchdowns are what you're trying to prevent and what you're trying to score.
And the lack of Younghoe Koo yesterday was a pleasant surprise, with the exception of extra points, because that means you were finishing drives yesterday. And that's a beautiful thing if you're the Falcons going forward, to see that they should score 4 touchdowns, 4 sustaining drives, not a big pop. And again, nothing wrong with the big pop play, but long sustaining drives that I don't care if you're the number 1 defense in the NFL or not. Somebody rushed the ball 40 times against you. By the time you get to the 4th quarter, you're going to be feeling a little bit. You're going to be feeling that. And that's what Arthur Smith, his philosophy is. Go ahead.
And rushing the ball successfully 40 times, not getting stopped, not getting stood up. Because, see, you can run the ball doggone 40 times, but if you're not making any hay with it, you're giving that defensive line and that defense all of the fuel that they need to keep coming after you. Okay? But thing is that when we run 40 times, we making money. 150, 140, 200-something yards a game, spread amongst 3 to 4 running backs. Man, look. That's good money. That's good money right there.
And to your point, 40 times at 168 at a clip of 4.2. Caleb Huntley is grabbing
4
the
yards
ball.
a pop.
And Caleb Huntley is grabbing the ball and basically falling down into 4 yards. And anytime you can do that and start a drive with 3 or 4 yards, do you realize how much easier, how much that opens up the playbook for second down? Last year, in the last couple of years, when John's favorite quarterback, number 2, was out there, and we were so pass friendly that when you go out there and the first play is incomplete pass, and that 2nd and 10 gets long, or the play is you go back and somebody sacks you and you start now 2nd and 15 and 16, that makes a difference. Now we got guys back there that can fall into 3 or 4 yards. And we have a quarterback that, while we still are looking for some rust to fall off, we do have a quarterback athletic enough to turn a 3rd and 12 into a first down by using his athleticism. And those are those things that we talked about in the preseason, that for those who were still longing for the yesteryear of your future Ring of Honor quarterback, we were trying to explain to folks it's not about not giving him his due. It's a new day. It's beautiful to know that when the pocket collapses, that our quarterback can run up and get a first down like that. That's beautiful. Is he Patrick Mahomes? No. Is he Josh Allen? No. Is he Kyler Murray? No. Is he Lamar Jackson? No. But on that 3rd and 12, and that was critical because we ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive. That was critical. And think about how that break the back of a defense. Think about the defense that held you. They got you 3rd and 12. They got their coverage back there. They got the cover guys back there, and then Mariota comes and breaks your heart and runs for 14, 15 yards. That's a big difference, Jay.
Yes. And, oh, man, just like you said, Steve, and I just have to leave your comment as it stands. I have to leave that as it stands because, see, hey, man, you said it. I'm going to ask to repeat it. 3rd and 13, and you break their back because they know that they lining up for a pass. They lining up for a pass because if you try to running back try to run that, they got something for him. If you try to pass it, they got people back there because, you playing either for the sticks. You're playing for the sticks. But when you have a quarterback to just break it and just get that first down, and Steve, what was it like down there in the dome when he got it? What was it like down there?
Let me tell you something. And again, keeping in mind, the crowd was absolutely, without a doubt, 50-50. I don't care what any Falcon fan want to tell me out there. We were there. It was half and half. When he made that first down, man, them Falcon fans were loud and let everybody know it. And it was a beautiful thing. That crowd might have been louder than what you were hearing years past when it was more Falcon fans in the crowd. So it was a great duel, Jay, especially at the beginning. We scored the first 2 touchdowns. Frisco came back, and you saw them kind of getting into it. But when the defense stood, when Oliver got his interception, when AJ picked up the fumble, when the defense needed to throw off Garoppolo, man, it was just beautiful, man. It was beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, beautiful. Man, I have been down there. The last time that I was down there when we played San Francisco, it was Georgia Dome.
Right.
When Jeff George had got knocked out of the game and they put Bobby Hebert in there.
Yeah.
And Bobby Hebert threw a touchdown pass to Terrence Mathis crossing
in the last
runs and then falls into the end zone. And man, look here. I thought I was gonna have to get a doggone bell tone because them jokers, man, when them jokers started hollering, I had to holler to keep my ears from hurting. That's how loud it was down there. man, I mean, they roared, and we ended up beating San Francisco, and
Yeah.
that was the last time. Old Cut was down there yesterday,
Yeah.
and he was down there at that particular game.
I saw him. He posted. Did he post something with some liquor, a bottle of liquor after the game?
Yeah, he had some of that doggone peach crown. He said he got it.
I knew I would see some posts from him later on.
Yeah. He died hard. He died hard 49.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes,
matter of fact, that game that I've just described, he was down there at that game, and he had a great big old coat and had a doggone fifth in the coat. And after the Falcons won the game, he just turned it right there.
Nothing is better than beating them old NFC West foes. Let me run through some more of these comments we got right down here. Ricky says we had rooks on them final plays of the fourth quarter when Terrell and Hayward went out, and we still shut them down. Brother Dwayne, what's going on, man? So, what's up, Uncle Steve from Augusta? What's going on? The historian says our secondary was lights out, and also the linebacker core has been developing nicely. Going to give you a word on Troy Anderson in a couple of minutes, Jay. Ricky says, miss me with that missing the players mess. Your offense got shut down. As the press said at the first of the year, worst team in the NFL. That's what they told. That's what they said. Dave is joining us. Dave is joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. It's going to be an interesting test for the Falcons on Sunday. Ricky said, I see we're number 8 in the NFC. Crickets. Lisa said that ATL whole chat gets me crow. Oh yeah, they were. Hey, it was a beautiful thing. And I don't know, Lisa, where you were, but I know you were in the middle in the grind. There was more, even with the Cleveland win. It was nice, and it was cool, but it was something about that Frisco win that had folks, because when we went down for the Cleveland win, people were like, yeah, we won, we went out. Boy, they would let these Frisco folks have it yesterday. They were giving them grief, because I had never seen so much Roger Craig, Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Colin Kaepernick, every 49er jersey you can see. It was something else. Anthony Quarterman, what's going on, brother? Said that defense was lit. Yes, sir. Millie says, since it's D, not physical enough, I think we do the same thing to them, run it down their throats. That's basically our identity right now, Millie. Daniel, what's going on? Say John would have gave them boys some scotch. Oh, man. They trying to get a sponsor.
You're right, man.
But I think, I think Bud is actually the sponsor down there with them down at the stadium. Rusty's in the house with Huntley and Tyler running the ball like they are. I actually think Arthur is going to put CP on a snap count or use him as a rotational piece when he comes back. If we can save CP for the end of the season or a wild card game, that would be excellent. Rusty, I have no problem with that aspect of it at all. I mean, now that these guys have kind of gotten the juices flowing and everything like that, yeah, you can bring a hopefully a rested and healthy CP back into the mix and only have to use them 10 to 15 touches a game. And that may not all be at the running back position. Now you might have that extra wide receiver that you need.
Now, see, that's my question now, because what is CP's position? What is his position, Steve? I thought he was a wide receiver that, we put back there at running back and, found the diamond in the rough last year.
I'm going to counter this. What is Deebo Samuel's position?
That's the same thing.
You see what I mean?
Same thing.
And don't get me wrong. Jay, when you're coming out of high school and they trying to rank, the young players on the team, and they say athlete. You know what I'm saying? When you're going into college, like they don't say wide receiver, run back. They say athlete. I think literally the NFL has kind of caught up and just say, yeah, I don't care what Deebo did. Let's let him run the ball. I saw him take about 3 carries from the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him, the motion man running down. I saw him take a flip from that. I saw him at wideout several times. But at that point from Frisco, who cares? If you're the most productive or one of the most productive folks on your team, put you in positions to carry the ball. The young boy, I know I'm switching over, the young boy from Georgia, Brock Bowers, number 19. Georgia is just finding ways to get him the ball. Who cares if he's a tight end? If he's in the back, give him the ball and give him some space and let him see what he does. I think that's when you talk about CP's position right now. You still line him up at running back because he's shown to be productive from there. But as Rusty's talking about, you can kind of rust him up a little bit. You can. Ricky says even Caleb McGarrett was teeing off on the defense. Kyle Pitts shut off the edges, and congratulations to Kyle Pitts, that first touchdown on American soil. That was awesome. And Huntley and Algier running jokers over. Lisa said this team is young and swaggy. They throwing up the A and dancing on the field. The energy is so different. These players are having fun out there and playing loose. And when the expectations are low, Lisa, it probably gives you that little bit of, chip on your shoulder where you got, they beat a team yesterday, and I don't care that the defensive guys weren't there. They beat a team yesterday that's supposed to compete for the Super Bowl, and they beat them kind of soundly. And no matter what people say about the defense missing, the offense was supposed to score. So I don't want to hear all that stuff. A couple of folks on YouTube here, Dave said, and guess what? Coach is going to kick those linemen behind if they don't continue to get the job done. He should. Brian Peoples in the house saying they treat us like a dog and expect us to smile. No, sir. Keep that same energy. Dave also say, no way do I do a trade of draft pick for the player. This team is still relying on the draft. Kind of depends on who it is, though, Dave. If you're talking about cornerback, that's a major position. You want to keep this thing rolling. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to mortgage your future on a pick. You're not going to give up like a third or fourth round pick. But if you can pick up somebody that may be on the last year of a contract and that can come and slide in while we see what's going on with Hayward, you got to take a chance, especially at 3-3. And Tavia says, what a win. I missed the first half. I'm disappointed. Brother, you didn't look. It was beautiful, brother. I'm sorry you missed the first half. But if you saw the second half, that was good enough. The guys took care of business on that. Got a couple more, Jay. We're going to get down to Charles said, Charles B said, I was looking at ESPN First Take. They still never talk about the Falcons. And again, we're 3-3 now. We're not 4-2. We're not 5-1. We're 3-3. Keep winning. That will come. Pile up the win. Somebody else was talking about that. Oh, they're not talking about us nationally. Good. I don't want anybody to talk about us. Jay, we talked about under the radar right now. We're not the hunted. We're the hunters. I think it's always good to be in that position, right?
Well, Steve, I'm going to say this. There is that old saying, ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
Right.
But ask the Rams how it feels to be under the gun.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're the Super Bowl champs now. You're the Super Bowl champs. You're the ones that, beat Joe Burrow and, and got the big trophy. You got Aaron Donald, his trophy that he wanted and all that. Okay, fine. Now, what's your record? How you looking? Okay, Sam, LA, how you looking? Now, thing is about that though, Steve, you want to be the hunted after you have won a championship. You want to be the hunted after you won a championship. And that championship swagger and that championship air, you can taste it, Steve. It just tastes so sweet once you get it.
See
Okay.
the Braves.
Yeah. Ask the Braves. Now, hey, and even with the Braves, I can't get mad with them.
I'm not.
I'll give them
I'm
a
not.
year off.
I'm not mad.
I'll give them a year off
Yeah.
because you got me one.
Absolutely.
You got me one. I give you a year off. Now, next year, and see, the thing is, if some players hadn't gotten hurt, if some situations hadn't taken place, we would be right back there. We'd be right back there. So we can't say that we were bad or we were sorry, man. We won 100 doggone games in spite of all of the things that happened to this team. Okay, so I can give you a year. All right. Now with us, really, Steve, we playing with house money right now.
Yep.
We playing with house money. Now, I still got that little angst about what they didn't do when they first got here. I still, I still got that little, hey man, you could have done this, you could have done that. But I can't argue with what you have done with misplaced puzzle pieces. Man, look, if you were to take a look on the front of the box and see what the picture supposed to look like, and then open the box and look at the puzzle, you say there's no way on God's green earth that this is gonna match that what's on the box. Now I know young folk don't know nothing about puzzles, Steve.
No, they don't know. They don't.
But,
do puzzles. No, they don't do puzzles.
Yeah, but I mean, you have constructed something that Arthur Smith has constructed something here that man could live for 10, 20 years and succeed him if it's nurtured, if real careful about the people that you bring in, because see, you got to have that you got to have that same attitude that the rest of the team has. Okay. Right. Nobody expected us to do anything, but we doing it. We taking care of each other. We don't have to speak it. You just feel it. You just know it. We together, we gonna go down or we gonna come up. We gonna be all together. And we don't have to say this. We don't have to preach this. We don't have to put it on a t-shirt. It's just there, man. I like it. I just have to say I like it,
So basically, what you're saying is when you take the situation that way, it makes it easier to go up to the suite and go grab 6 or 7 Bud Lights with your lineman and celebrate like that because again, it's that camaraderie. You don't need it on a t-shirt. You don't need it as a motto.
No,
you just go do it.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's just something, okay. And I'm seeing something that Arthur Smith is doing. All of the criticism, all of the bad talk, all of the whatever, he's absorbing it himself.
Right.
You see that? He's taking all of that himself. No matter who it is that you talk about on the team, he's taking all of that himself. What about such and such and such and such? We'll get him ready. He'll be ready to play. Right. Everything will be okay. I know you guys, gonna say this and say that about him, but I don't care. Everything's gonna be all right. We're gonna go out there and play, and we're gonna win the game. That's our mission. We're gonna win the game. And cut them off. Even your boy D. Orlando Ledbetter, we cut. I mean, now, hey, Steve, now. Notice how Arthur Smith doesn't even let you finish your question. He don't let you finish your question before he start answering it.
Hey, man.
He cut you right.
Hey, well, you have some coaches that like playing the media game.
Yeah.
You got some of the coaches that really, I'm just here so that I won't get fined.
Yeah,
and I think Arthur falls into that category.
Yeah,
of not wanting to get fired.
See, now, Steve, now he should have got fined last week on that Grady Jarrett call. Now, see, look, like I told Tidy last week, look, man, I called Arthur Blank. Look here, man. You're going to have to come up off around about $100K, take it out of my salary, do whatever it is that you want to do. But I'm about to cut some folk out because
why I disagree. You know why I disagree with that? Because what did you do this week? You took that energy. You didn't claim, you didn't cry foul. You didn't say it was because of that we didn't have an opportunity. You didn't do any of that. You know what you did? You focused. You took that angst into this game against a team that had allegedly the #1 defense in the league, and you basically ran them up and down the field. Marcus Mariota, 13 of 14, 2 touchdowns, including one rushing touchdown. So you took out all that frustration on the other team. Direct it positively, man. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do as far as that's concerned.
It's still,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Oh, you know he was hot. You saw that on the field.
Oh yeah, I saw
he
that.
was hot. But again, he has to realize, that's the coach. And if he can't handle it, and if he loses his composure, what do you think his players behind him are going to do? Do you think for 1 minute they went in that locker room and Arthur Smith said, "Hey, y'all, the referees blew it"? I think when they went in that locker room, Arthur Smith said in that locker room to the players what he wanted to say out in the media. But he said, "You know what, though? They screwed us. They got us. Let's take it out on Frisco." And I think that's what they did. This team showed that, hey, we're not going to let adversity kill us or let it bring us down to where we're going to cry all year about this one call. I hear what you're saying. You're right. He probably does need to let that out. But at the end of the day, hey, focus and move it into the other side. Let me go down a couple more right quick. Armand, what's going on, man? Say, what's up, Uncle Steve? I have a few 49er fans that work with me and was talking about how we won because their defense was hurt, but I let them know they had their whole offense played again. Absolute truth. Armand asked them, did Jimmy G get hurt? No. Did Debo get hurt? No. Did Wilson get hurt? No. Did Kittle get hurt? No. Did Ayuk get hurt? No. If you can't stop me after that, the offense should have at least, if you're going by your defense should have been slack, then at least your offense should have picked you up. And they did. Rusty says pass protection and pass rush need a little bit of work, but I love the way this team is playing. One of my issues with them the last few years have been the effort or lack thereof we have seen from time to time. Even if we don't win the game, at least I know they're going to punch other teams in the mouth, and I love it. I think about this game and saw so many guys on both sides going, taking injury timeouts. It was a lot of hitting out there. It was a lot of physicality. When is the last time you said you've seen an Atlanta team beat up on another team? That is just,
No, man, you didn't see that for the past 14. Well, no. Because see, when Mike Smith first came here.
Yeah, I was about to say, give Mike Smith some
when
credit.
Mike Smith first came here, I would say up until around about 2013.
Mike Smith came in here. As a matter of fact, I'll even go as far to say we probably don't enjoy success if our defense isn't up to task. I would say that probably between 09 and a little bit up to 12, where the guys were definitely playing physical. When Willie Moore was out there, we played physical. When Sean Witherspoon could stay on the field, we stayed physical. You had Big Babineau up front. They had some physical guys up there, but obviously that didn't last as long as we wanted it to. But
then on top of that too, I'm not sure, but the rule changes that came in about the defenseless player and other stuff, we tried to play too nice. That's the impression I get a lot of times, that we be trying to play too doggone nice. And when you do that, you got defensively, if you look at it, Steve, defensively, the rules are against you. The rules are against you when you play defense. The main thing that you used to be able to do to intimidate other players, to knock players out, or to stop plays, you can't do them anymore.
Right.
You can't do them anymore. So what we did, from what I was seeing, we just stopped playing defense. We just stopped playing it. It wasn't a situation where we would make an official make a call because we were both jostling for position on passes, or if we would hit somebody, we wouldn't really hit them. It was just like we were trying to be choir boys out there,
but
on offense and defense.
But
to finesse folk.
But now you could say in 2022, that's not.
No.
That's not. Man. So I know we can talk about what they didn't do, but right now what they are doing is keeping them alive in these games, and I love it. Let me get to a couple more of these folks right quick. I see Sheehan out there in the house. Sheehan is on YouTube on the Dixon Way. Go to YouTube, and he has a live reaction show where they're watching the game, and he was hilarious yesterday. He and his wife host that show, so y'all make sure y'all check that out. I was watching some of it today. Got a chance to talk about cookies. Oh man, that's my boy. Billy Mills says the crazy thing is teams know we're coming to run at them, and that's the crazy thing, Millie. When you do something that you know is coming, that when you do something and the other team know it's coming and they can't stop it, that's mental, man. You know, Frisco knew we were gonna run the ball yesterday, and we still ran the ball successfully. That's something here in Atlanta that we haven't had called identity. That's a style of play we haven't had. You can say what you want to say about the 2016 season. Our identity was more in our play of we're just going to keep attacking. And they did. They attacked in 2016. It didn't matter. They were still, even if they were up, they were still trying to attack. That probably hurt us when Shanahan all of a sudden had a change of heart in the Super Bowl. But you attack. And that was the identity. The identity of this team right here is we going to run the ball, we're going to run that 40-second clock down, and we're going to run the ball again, and hopefully get something like less than 3rd and 5, where we have an option that Mariota can roll out and hit a tight end or hit a short slant or something like that. But right now, our job, I think the perfect Atlanta formula is to have between 50 and 60 plays where 65% of the plays are going to be run and 35% of the plays will be passing. And I think that's where the success of this team is coming from this year. We definitely going to impose our will on folks. Philip comes in and says teams are going to have, what's on, Philip? Teams are going to have to plan for us instead of relaxing and looking past us. And it goes back to what Millie said. They already know what's coming, Philip. It's a matter of, are you going to stop it? This allegedly was supposed to be the best defense we played. And let me run through these real quick. And then, Jay, I want you to go on a little trip with me over to our scoreboard. Dwayne says, I will have to admit defense is looking a lot better. Anthony says, we're going to beat the Bengals. We will make the playoffs. Whew. Do you think we talk about playoffs? Ricky says, not to mention Joe Mixon is a turnover machine with butterfingers. Millie says, what is Taysom Hill's position? Yeah, that's another. When you were talking about people who don't have a position, Millie, that's another guy where you start talking about what does he do? He's listed as a tight end, but truly that's not what he is. He's just like a gnat. CP has multiple positions. He's a good player, but you'll tire him out if you don't get him any help. But we got some good running backs, so we can use CP more. Paul Stark, what's going on? Said, did you see Hulk throw up too legit to quit yesterday? And you say, hey, y'all saw Kyle with the Dirty Bird yesterday as well when you got in there too. Zay says drop the link. Zay, I'm gonna look for you right quick. Facebook just said what I don't like is somebody giving us props. I'm sorry, let's try that again. What I don't like is nobody giving us props and saying we played well. They are just saying the Niners played bad and got beat by a bad team. We're going to earn their respect soon, though. Calvin Miller. Calvin, that's what we have to do. And nobody is going to give them respect. Yesterday should have been one of the bigger upsets in the NFL, but you didn't hear anybody talking about it. And now, granted, we had some good marquee matchups. You had the Kansas City, Buffalo. You had Dallas, Philadelphia yesterday. So you had some other games people were paying attention to. But at the same time, I get it.
Man, look, we don't want to be Steve. I don't want to be begging nobody for no respect. I don't want to be asking nobody for nothing. I want them dragged, kicking and screaming with their eyes being held open with forks, making them look, making them respect us because of the record, because of the accomplishments. That's what I want, man. Because what we've done in the past, we won a few games, people started to pay attention to us, then we let them down. We'll let them down. So thing is that, okay, if you want all these spotlights, if you want all these accolades, you want all of this attention, you've got to, number one, earn it. Number two, sustain it. You got to earn it and you got to sustain it. Now, yesterday was a big step toward that. That was a big step toward that, So just keep doing what you're doing. Keep playing hard-nosed football. Keep cut down on the mistakes that you're making, and what you want will come to you. It'll come to you.
Wait, Daniel says they had us at 4-14. I'm sure you mean 4-13 as our record prediction on NFL Network for the start of the preseason. Dave says, show some faith in the young CBs on the right. Oh, no. Don't get me wrong, Dave. I'm not dissing the young cornerbacks. Listen, most of the time when you see teams try out backup cornerbacks, the first thing the quarterback do is they go right after the cornerback. I have faith in D'Alford and Mike Ford and Isaiah Oliver and folks like that. I'm just saying that's one of those positions that is kind of fragile. Once one person goes down, you got to have some backup. And if Hayward is going to be gone all year, it's not like you're going to leave that little spot open. You're going to have to bring somebody else in here. I'm not telling you to get rid of any of our guys. I'm just saying,
Well, you know what? Now, Steve, okay, it's rare to have a backup cornerback as good as a starter. It's rare. Otherwise that person would be starting on another team. And just like you say, hey, when you see a person starting cornerback go out, that's an automatic target over there. Let's get it. Right. He just came in. That joker ain't played. Let's get it. So, hey, everybody else has to pick up the slack as best they possibly can.
Absolutely. Ricky says, man, I'm glad I got NFL Plus, so I was able to look at the game. Missed it yesterday, but I saw the highlights. NFL Plus is good. Only thing I don't like about NFL Plus, and it took the place of Game Plan, is they used to have on the Game Plan where you could hear the other teams' radio feed. Like you can go all the way back to 2009 and look at all the games, and you could hear the hometown call. You get the national call on TV, but you also got the radio call. That's the only thing I hate about that. Hey, Zay, if you're still on there, look on your checking your messenger, bro. Joseph, what's up, Joe? Joe says we're gonna sneak up on them. I hope we do. Sneak up on Cincinnati. Dwayne says they have never talked about us, even in our Super Bowl years. Jaquan says if we show up Sunday with 11 players to play both sides and got whooped, no one would mention that we had 11 players. It'd just be that it was the sorry Falcons at best. Yeah. The respect, man. The respect. Daniel says puzzles, y'all probably at the age where y'all be bored doing crossword puzzles. You talking about our puzzles, man. Brother Chris is in the house. Hey, Chris. Hey, JR. Chris, you see Chris up there said,
oh, that's so Chris. What's up, Chris?
Chris is hurting because his Baltimore Ravens bit the dust this week as well. So
yeah.
I know he's not I know he's not a happy camper right now.
Yeah.
Chris. Anthony says Arthur Smith has lit a fire under the team. He got them believing in themselves. Brother Sheehan says, I know I only have 4 books and 2 possibilities before the season, Stephen, but I will be honest. I'm glad I underbidded my hand. I only see one game. We would not be favored in the next 6. New energy. So Sheehan sets up perfectly my next screen I'm going to put up. Dang, I got a couple more people real quick. David says, Coach Smith's handling of the media is very Belichickian. Didn't think I could say that, did you, David? Jimmy.
No, I didn't.
Jimmy says, Jimmy Hall says, Hunter extended for, oh, good. You're talking about from the Hawks. Hunter extended 4 years, $95 million. That's about right. That's about what John Collins is getting. Very good job. I like Hunter, man. I don't know why he get a bad rap when he's here, but I like him. Daniel says number 1 defense in the NFL has to be Philly. They're +9 in the turnover battle. Yeah, Philly and Dallas, man. Those are 2. I know Philly got the best of them early, but Dallas kind of rebounded a little bit in the second half. They got a nice little defense going on too. Tidy's in the house. Tidy said, yes, we have developed our identity now. I know Tidy has always talked about that new energy in the clubhouse or in the locker room. And that's what we got going on right now with these Falcons. It's a different thing, man. Mike Thomas in the house. What's going on, Mike? How you doing, brother? Tidy also says, what do y'all think happens when Marlon Davidson comes back? Graham has been impressive alongside Grady. I don't know what John is going to say, but I'm going to say I noticed yesterday that the girls on the side who had the little pom-poms, I think they had an opening out there. So maybe Marlon could squeeze in there and do some cheerleading on the side because we ain't really missed him. What you say?
We were short in concession stands yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, too, Steve. I need somebody on French fries.
Hey, listen.
Cause man,
talk about it, Jay. Marlon Davidson, Damian Williams, folks that we hadn't seen so far. So Tidy, what do? Do you 6 games in? And I'm not trying to say Marlon Davidson. Has Marlon Davidson, aside of the little pick 6 he fell into that Tom Brady had, what has Marlon Davidson done on a consistent basis on this team so far? And I know he's been hurt a long time, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, just like I wanted to give Jalen Mayfield the benefit of the doubt, just like I want to give other high draft picks that we end up cutting bait with early the benefit of the doubt. But if these other guys are working, and folks, like he said, like Graham, who got hurt and came back into the game yesterday, if those guys are eating, then I'm looking around at the table, man. There's one table set missing. And maybe Marlon is kind of easing his way out, right?
One thing I'm going to say, Marlon Davidson, Mayfield are not Arthur Smith's guys.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
These are not his guys.
That's true.
These aren't his guys. So he doesn't, if there was an owing to be owed, he doesn't owe it. Okay? Right. He doesn't owe it, And thing is, all right, Grady Jarrett earning his money. You can see it on film in the previous regime, okay? And see anybody who's watching, just like you pointed out in Tidy's show, if you really watch Grady playing defense,
Right.
you know that man is getting held, getting grabbed, all kind of stuff.
Let me tell you something. And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If you wanted to, and I know I hear everybody talking about that, you can basically call holding. When I see Grady's arm being basically bent back, all you got to do is go look at the field. It's not hard to see. Yeah. Every time they are holding that man with, I mean, it's ridiculous to the point. Same thing with AK. AK is getting held. So until we start getting those calls and start getting that respect, I mean, it's gonna be.
And Steve, Steve, that you've opened up 2 points for me. And let me go back to the one we were just discussing. Mm-hmm. See, Grady Jarrett. Now there are a lot of people right now talking about Grady playing like a man possessed. Grady playing like he trying to get a new contract. This is the way that man has been playing ever since he's been here.
Right.
Grady hasn't turned nothing up. This is how Grady plays. The reason why you see a difference this year is that he has help. He got somebody to take a triple team off of him. They're gonna try to double team him, but the other players are taking that triple team off of him so he can get a loose. Grady just able to get a loose this year. That's my thing. And then the other point I wanted to make, I go back to what I was saying about Arthur Smith cussing somebody out. Because see what's happening, and you see it on defense all the time. The way that they taken away sacks from this man. Now, say for instance, Grady had sack incentives in his contract. He probably does. Right. You just took 2 sacks away from him last week and this week out of this man's pocket. Yeah. You took money out of this man's pocket. Various bonuses and things that people are trying to get because of officials not calling stuff the way it's supposed to be called. Now, a good agent can come in and talk to the owner. Hey, man, he's supposed to get 19 sacks for this $5 million bonus, but he didn't give it 18. But that sack right there, they should have called that one. That sack there, they should have called that one. That was a sack for him. Okay, and that's what I'm talking about. Bad calls from these officials. See, they got us with the Grady sack last week. The week before that was, what was it? There was something the week before that, but the one that I really was mad about was the 2 men moving at the same time, and it wasn't number 1 man doggone moving, and that female official came over there and told that man it was 2 people moving at the same time. I said, now look, come on, man.
Thoughts on female officials are from John Harrison. John Harrison exclusively.
I'm just saying. See, thing is that, my team is already down by law. Like I said, we down by law already. Nobody giving us a chance to do anything. And it's a crying shame that you get ripped off by people who are supposed to be experts at doing this, and and messing my boy Grady up. Grady, man, look, this man could be an automatic Pro Bowl selection. There are so many things that Grady can do, but now you're seeing it now that he is a loose. Now that he's a loose, you can see it.
Going right here real quick, April says, what's up, Unc? Remember at the beginning of the year, people wanted Pease and Smith fired, especially after trading Matt. I'm glad their plan is starting to show up. Philip says, with the upcoming draft, what side of the ball should we target and what position do you think we'll go after? I think it's pretty much a consensus. You got to go with that defensive line. You still need to populate that line, whether it be a pass rusher, whether it be somebody on the line, some more help for Grady, rotating that line in. We still, whereas early in the year, it seemed like the pass rush was starting to get soft. Last couple of weeks, it's kind of come back a little bit. I'd love to see that pressure to where we can get 4 guys rushing and make a significant wave. Go ahead.
Who do you turn or loose?
And you're talking about on the line?
Yeah.
Well, it'll probably end up being one of the guys that I mean, these guys right now are fighting for positions. When you talk about the Abdullah Andersons, the Taquan Grahams, the what's my other guy that we brought in on the line this year? These guys are battling right now for 2023. And I don't know who at the moment, but I do know this. The pocketbook opens up next year. And you're going to be able to get some talent. And the guys that are playing now probably won't be starting if we bring in the right talent. So ask me that question probably in the off season. But right now, this is just an open competition. I just want to see these guys. That's probably why you see the camaraderie that you do, or you see the energy that you do, because none of these guys were all cast off. Remember that movie? Remember the Christmas movie, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? Remember when Santa Claus couldn't get to the island of misfit toys? Atlanta Falcons are the misfit toys, and nobody wanted to deal with them. And then Arthur Smith rode in with Rudolph, or I should say Terry Fontenot rode in with Arthur on the sleigh. And they went and picked up Taquan Graham, D. Alford, Troy Anderson, and all those guys. And they put them on the sled and they brought them back to the North Pole. And now they some toys that people want.
But now, okay, Steve, now that you said that, wouldn't it be beneficial for this team to keep that kind of vibe?
Well,
because the thing is,
but the identity, the players are part of setting but the identity is going to be set by Arthur Smith. The expectation is going to be set by the coaches, by Dean Pease and Arthur Smith. No matter who comes in here next year, whether it be free agent or draft, now we're laying the foundation for these guys to come in. Oh, I see on tape what Dean Pease expects. Oh, I see on the offensive line what Arthur Smith wants. Now, that's what they're building right now. There's no, as beautiful as it is to see us winning, and as nice as it is to see us having some success, there's no way that you're going to tell me that as constructed right now, this roster is built for the long run. So build the identity, build the energy, build what's expected. So next year when agents are looking for their players and they say, you know what, that system they got down there in Atlanta, that's gonna work pretty well. That's gonna do fine for me. You can interchange the players. But I hear what you're saying. Like some of the players now that might be setting the tone. Somebody like D. Alford, somebody like Troy Anderson, or a rebirth of Rashad Evans. You know, these guys are, you know, part of this rebuild, and they could be valuable down the line. But I just don't think, if you really look at our roster right now as constructed, how many players do you honestly project that would be starters on other teams?
Well, probably none. Probably.
Well, let's go. Let's go. Pitts, maybe London, Lindstrom, Grady, AJ. I mean, now.
Yeah, now I can go along with them. But see, those are your skill position guys, with the exception of Grady. Okay, those are your skill position guys. The meat and potatoes of this team and of that identity are the folk that are not in the limelight, the ones that aren't the stars, the ones that are working paycheck to paycheck, so to speak.
That's what I'm talking about, Tidy, Anthony Rush. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Like my damn content.
Rush is gone. Rush is gone.
No, but I was just saying those type of players.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, that Steve, there's something to be said about you being nervous that you're about to lose your job playing football,
right?
Playing pro football, because it gives you that angst, that little bit of anxiety that pushes you to play as though, you know, you play like you being chased by the police. Okay. I mean, it's motivation versus a person who has a 5-year deal, guaranteed money, and is settled. Because, you know, we already had that with certain folk, and they quote unquote weren't going to be moved. Okay. That's what I'm talking about as far as the makeup of this team. Okay. You got to have somebody or somebody's that still reflect that hunger, still reflect that want to, as Hugh Douglas said. Just keeping everybody fired up. And I know Arthur Smith is going to bring that culture, but once it filters down into the team, which it has done, the players themselves can, quote unquote, govern themselves and each other as to being, you know, bringing that same type of fire and angst to everybody so that they can perform. And see, I don't want to bring or have a situation where I'm bringing in high-priced talent and we have a mutiny on the team because of somebody just being beside themselves or just being so, you know, I'm this, I'm that, I did this in high school, I did this in college, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Do you think they're going to bring in high-priced talent, or do you think they're going to make some quality moves across them? And when I say high-priced talent,
I understand. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. And I hope they don't. Because what they're doing right now, and the experiment is ongoing, what they've done with spit and baling wire, I hope they can continue to be able to do with spit and baling wire. Possibly higher price baling wire. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just slightly higher price baling wire, you know, so that this vibe that we have here continues, that we don't settle, that right. We are not satisfied, right. that you know, we own each other's back in a quote unquote positive / a critical way, so that we keep that fire going, you know, because see, hey, it's just next year with all this money we got, all right. I just don't want us to go and buy something and then end up cutting it or getting rid of it, not because of the talent, but because of the vibe that it brings to the team. And you know, certain players would do that.
Well, I think the only thing I would say to that is that some of the draft picks that I see, you know, that we've had over the last couple of years that we see that may potentially be productive when you talk about Jalen Hawkins, Richie Grant, Troy Anderson, Michael Walker, AJ. When you start looking at those guys, to me, they're the foundation. Those are guys that you drafted. So the potential is you know, you still have folks growing. I think the folks I'm talking about is maybe the Taquan Rushes, the Abdullah Andersons, the D. Alfords, the Mike Fords, the folks like that really are, you know, somewhere between bench and practice squad guys, where yes, they're playing way over their head. The Darren Halls, where they're playing over their head right now, which is great. And whatever's motivating them to do that is fine. But if you have an opportunity to upgrade to a talent that you know can fit your system. Now, again, you just don't go get anybody, but you have to get that. That's what scouting is for. That's what Terry's job is, to not only go out and find a piece, but find the piece that fits in your situation. When Cordero was available for the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Smith obviously had a plan for him that we didn't know about, and used him in such a way that made him now one of the more respected and kind of dangerous person, in one of the more dangerous players in the NFL. So I trust in the organization that they'll bring folks in that still believe in the philosophy that they're trying to teach from the ground up. I don't see them just upsetting the apple cart just to get, the best player at that position. They'll probably bring in folks that will fit what they're trying to teach. Let me catch up with a couple of folks on here real quick. We've been doing a lot of talking. I think I went through this. Hey, this King, but as soon as we got Evans, I knew Debo was gone. Yep, he sure was. Ricky says, as horrible as the Broncos have been playing lately, they're up 10-0 on the Chargers. Now, my brother Alberto, what's going on, man? Talking about Marlon Davidson. Shin says, Ty Bears need a number one receiver badly. What if we trade Ridley and a third-round pick for Roquan Smith? Now you got a top 3 linebacker in the NFL to help Grady. That could be done since the assistant GM was the Bears' former GM. Listen, I've been seeing the Roquan Smith thing. I would love it. Like you said, if the price isn't too high, third-round pick, to me, I think we're at a point where first, second, third, I probably wouldn't touch either of those. I want to keep them for the next couple of years if I could. But actually, that's probably not a bad play for that. But Roquan would fit in nice. Alberto also says, how do you gentlemen feel about the Falcons' chances of ripping consecutive wins? The schedule is favorable for us now. Thoughts? So Alberto is going to lead us to what I was trying to get to a couple of times before. So this is perfect that he brought this up. So let's go over here to this side, John. Now, at the beginning of the year when we were talking and prognosticators had us at 2 wins and possibly 3 and all of that. Yeah, that was kind of a slap in the face. Now at 3-3, and now that things have evened out, John, look at this schedule. If you can see the screen with me now. Week 7, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. I would argue that maybe they are one of the 2 top teams that we're going to play in the next 6 weeks, as Alberto referred to. We come home next week, the week after next, and play Carolina. We have the Chargers, who are playing right now. The Chargers are actually still pretty good as well. Then Thursday night, after that, we play Carolina. We welcome in the Bears on week 11. Then we're at the Commanders for Washington. They're not looking exactly great. And then Pittsburgh before the bye. So with those 6 weeks right there, and yes, we're going to play the game. I know a lot of people don't want to this week one at a time, but we're just playing the game just to play the game. How many wins do you see out of that, Jay? I mean, Cincinnati, Carolina, Chargers, Carolina, Chicago, Washington, Pittsburgh. 7 games until the bye.
Steve, we have the potential of winning all 7.
Oh, wow.
From what I have seen that this team can do, we have the potential of winning all 7 of those games. There are no games that I'm saying that this is going to be a loss. I can't say that. Even the Super Bowl participant Cincinnati, because Cincinnati still has the same problem that they had last year. That offensive line.
Yep.
Okay. Now, and
I want to hear what everybody else says too. So if you're watching with us real quick, tell us. I mean, let's go through it one more time just to give people a shot. Cincinnati, Carolina here, Chargers here, at Carolina, Chicago here, Washington on the road, Pittsburgh here, and then before the bye. How many games did right now, folks, as you see our Falcons playing, how many games do you project us to win? Again, playing the game, I see 5 wins right there. I see 5 out of 7.
Who you seeing we gonna lose to?
I agree with you with Cincinnati's issues right now, but I also say, boy, that's gonna be tough. Jamar, I mean, if our cornerback situation is what it is, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Boyd, Mixon, that's a lot to overcome. I look at that one, and I'll even go as far to say I think we can beat the Chargers, but I just think man to man at the moment they probably have a more talented team, and I think that would be cool if we could win. But I'll say right now, I could easily see a Carolina sweep. Chicago, Washington, and even Pittsburgh. And I know Pittsburgh had a big win against Tampa, but that was at home. I'm trying to tell you, man, I see 5 wins. And just like you, Jay, I'm hoping for the best, but I see 5 wins out of it. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Let me see what some folks are saying right now. False Start comes in and says, if we play right, we can take at least 5. David Starks comes back and said, at worst, 5-2. Cincinnati and the Chargers will be a tough out. The rest are quite winnable. I agree. Ricky says, Joe Mixon will be our friend. The Kitty Cats, the Bears, and the Commanders are W's. I'm with Uncle John. I think we can run the tail. Okay. All right. I hear you. Alberto says, I'll say 5-2 down the stretch, and the losses I say would be Carolina because the division game and Pittsburgh because those guys will be looking at the bye. That's interesting. Uncle G is in the house on Uncle Steve's Lounge. Say, I see at least 5 wins. I'm trying to see that too. Uncle says, I have us at 11-3 until we see Baltimore, but we can beat them too. We can shock them. Whoa. That's one right there saying we are going to run the table. And 11-3.
Well, Steve, that's what I'm saying. At the beginning of the year, not having seen, well, you know what I always say. Right. Get it off the paper, put it on the field.
Put it on the thing.
Okay. They put it on the field, Steve.
Keep talking, Jay.
They have put it on the field. And everything they put on the field is positive. It's a point where you see what these people are capable of doing when they don't beat themselves up. And the sky is the limit. Since they have the sky's the limit, and they've shown that they can hang with anybody, I say this team can beat anybody. And as far as the Cincinnati game is concerned, okay, what is Cincinnati's defense going to do against our newfound running attack? Marcus Mariota being able to scramble. What are they going to do? They've got to be able to stop us too. And the key to us winning these games is us not beating ourselves or allowing them to beat us due to mistakes that we make. We cannot make mistakes. That's the only thing that's keeping us from being right now. Okay, we 3-3. We could be 5-1 without the mistakes that we've made to torpedo our chances in the games.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. Because see, if we don't beat ourselves, we win the Saints game. Okay, we win, and in the Tampa Bay game, we got ripped off on. So that wasn't our fault, but we got behind. All right, and when we were roaring back, we were coming back, and I would have loved to have gotten a chance to be able to blame somebody on the offense for not winning the game. But we didn't get a chance.
I think when you start talking about, and this is Sheehan right here saying, I only see 2 games out of that list that we wouldn't be favored, and Cincinnati could be had. The Chargers looking real suspect right now against Denver tonight. We'll beat the Panthers twice, beat the Bears and Commanders. I'm counting all my spaces cuts. As he says, Ricky says, Steve, any given Sunday, they counted us out anyway. We got a lot of fight. Brother Tidy says 6-1. I think the Panthers may be another person saying the division game comes into play. And here's the thing, Tidy, look, we really can't afford to lose another division game. Like,
no, you can't.
We have already stubbed our toe twice in that realm. I don't think we can afford to lose. But I hear what you're saying. It is the division games that people, jump up and get us for that. But yeah, listen. If we can beat, and it's not like I don't believe, folks. I don't want anybody to get it twisted. Obviously, I'm rooting for for us to run the table. If we can get that Cincinnati win on the road, I think this was a confidence booster right here because everybody's got Frisco on their list of teams to be in potential Super Bowl teams. If you can go on the road and beat a talented up and coming Cincinnati, let's not get it twisted. Cincinnati had a nice role last year. I don't even think Cincinnati is the 3rd best team in the AFC right now. But if you can get some confidence and a road win at Cincinnati, I think all bets are off. I think you can truly run the table. I think you can, but you got to start with the Cincinnati win. You got to start.
Now, did Carolina win Sunday?
No, they were leading the Rams for a quick second, and then the Rams woke up.
Right.
And beat them by
I didn't take that.
18. I think it was 28-10. I think that's what it was.
Okay, and see, thing was, I did hear that they were leading the Rams, but I never found out whether they won or lost. But I did hear this news about the new head coach having to throw a play off the field, wide receiver.
Oh, he got traded today. He got traded to the Cardinals.
Right.
Bobby Anderson. And I didn't realize that they said he played with Matt Rule before, so that they had a connection there, so that was personal. Let me get over here right quick. Ricky says, with rich quarterback, how will the Kitty Cats beat us? They just got rid of Robbie Anderson. They're shopping McCaffrey, and they have a backup coach. I can't see us dropping one to Carolina. And you know what it is, though, Rick? And I hear you loud and clear. That's one of those things where you kind of say, man, we ain't got nothing to lose. We Carolina. Let's at least beat the Falcons once this year. So I can see where people would think, but to your point, on paper, it should be a win for us. Uncle G says if we beat Cincinnati, we'll win all 7. We're looking as good as we're looking good as underdogs. I'm sticking to my run. This is Nando. What's up, Nando? And here's the thing, folks. If you're a betting man, the Falcons this year against the spread, 6-0. 6-0. David said Rams beat 2014. I thought it was 28. My bad. I apologize. Carolina Panthers already talking draft talk. Man, someone said Robbie is a cancer. Dang. But he was decent with the Jets. And I thought when he came to Carolina, I thought he would be pretty productive, but I guess not. 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's my brother Alberto. Make sure y'all go to his YouTube channel, subscribe. Not sure if you guys touched on Mariota's play, but if he continues on his performance from yesterday, does the Ritter chat go away slowly? Here is we have not talked about Mariota. So I'm going to go here. That was I think you couldn't have played any better than Mariota played on Sunday. 13 of 14. I think he ran off, I want to say it was 60 plus yards. Let me see real quick. It was.
Yeah, I know he contributed, Jack.
He ran for 50 yards. I apologize. Six carries, 50 yards. Of course, that touchdown. He did not turn the ball over. And he managed a very good game. I am happy he is our quarterback on October 17th. Eventually, even with our identity as a running team, you're gonna need that position to upgrade in play. Mariota, again, 13 of 14, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. Passer rating 144. I don't need to just beat teams in today's NFL because just like in basketball, football is the same thing. Every team has a run. Every team makes a run. And I need to have that quarterback in place that will eventually push the envelope a little further. Can I complain about Marcus right now? No. And while he's winning, it's going to be hard because he's won 3 out of 4. And if Jerome Bolger isn't a referee, probably 4 in a row. So I support my quarterback. But if we happen to get to the bye and if we're anything less than 500, I got to pull the trigger. Because what you're going to get is eventually you're going to have to see Ritter sometime this year. You are. And let's hope it's not through injury to Mariota. But you're going to have to evaluate Ritter this year. Because next year, you have a plethora of quarterbacks coming out. Even guys who weren't even on the radar. There's a little guy from UCLA that's balling out. I don't know. I don't even think Hooker is available in Tennessee. But, I mean, add Levis on the list, add Bryce on the list, add Stroud on the list. I mean, there are a lot of guys that you would like to say, hey, let's see what these guys have on tap. So from the Marcus Mariota thing, I support him as long as he's our quarterback. But eventually you're going to have to stretch the field. Eventually. What you think, Jay?
Steve, you know, this is one of the, and while I was riding down the road, I was thinking about this very thing because this is supposed to be a house money throwaway year.
Right.
But you caught lightning in a bottle. Mm-hmm. We talking about playoffs. We talking about making runs and you know what everybody always says. Oh, once you get in the playoffs, everything's wide open. You could do this, you could do that. And see, if right now, as long as no mistakes are made, you could conceivably, as what did we just get through talking about? How many we could win out of the next 7?
Right.
Now you mess around here and go 4-3, 5-2. Can you make that change? I don't think you can make that change if you win.
If you have a winning record by the bye, it's gonna be hard to make a change.
It's gonna be hard to make a change.
It's gonna be hard to make a change. And again, think about what we were just talking about a few minutes ago. At the beginning of the season, no one knew how this was gonna pan out. With Pittsburgh, we didn't know how that was gonna pan out. Cincinnati has had some problems. We didn't know about that. Obviously, we didn't know Frisco wasn't going to be a challenge this week. So as we start talking about what's coming up,
you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, if you're 4-3, and before we go in some more, because I see some good responses to some of this. Ricky says Mariota played a near perfect game. He's getting better by the week. If we make this run up, we won't see Ridder this season. This is Nando. And again, I agree with you. If we make the run, we don't. Facebook user says, Steve, what do you think about bringing Calvin back? I don't know if you heard my other comment about Marlon Davidson, but if you haven't, you know that part of the game when you're in the stadium and they push those parachutes down and they throw the T-shirts down to the crowd. Maybe if that job is available for Calvin, possibly. But other than that, Calvin, I wouldn't get Calvin near this team right now. Not the way they're constructed right now. If Debo wasn't going to be able to come near this team, then Calvin Ridley definitely would not. Get what you can from a trade. Get what you can and move on.
Enterprise car rental is hiring.
Hey. Yeah. And listen, his time just ran out here. And Calvin is another, project from the Dimitrov days. Let him go ahead and pass. DJ from Clemson, I guess talking about quarterback. He's not really. He's so to me. The mere fact that, he's been playing better, but I'm still not trusting him in a. Wait till they play the big boys. I know they got a big game against Syracuse, I think, coming up with the undefeateds. I'm not sure about that. Kenzel says, what about Lamar going after Lamar Jackson? Kenzel, if Baltimore doesn't slap the franchise tag on him, which I am making a pretty good bet that they will, I would absolutely go all in. Listen, if you're going all in on Deshaun Watson, why wouldn't you go all in on Lamar Jackson? And I don't need to tell people about what he would bring to this city and the buzz we would have and the ability that he still has right now. I would bring him in. If we had a quarterback with this run game and a defense, oh yeah. Tiny says, for debate's sake, let's say Mariota continues to play good, fairly well, and the Falcons start winning more than we lose. Can you really bench Mariota at that point, especially if we're in the playoff hunt late? And again, I take it to the. Thank goodness we have a late bye this week. This year. If we have a winning record by the bye, you can't bench him. You can't.
No, and see that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Now, Steve, the only solution that I can think of is what Dan Reeves did with Chris Chandler and Michael Vick. And the reason why I say it will work here is that, in all honesty, both quarterbacks are the same. Marcus Mariota hadn't played as a starter for 2 years. Didn't throw but 4 passes last year. You just drafted Ritter, who hasn't played in the NFL at all. Okay? Now, what would be the harm? What would be the harm in bringing Ritter in for spot duty, sometime during the game, whatever? And the thing is that there's a problem with that. There's a inherent problem with that, because of our record and what we've already accomplished. Because, see, if Ritter loses the game or Mariota loses the game, you're still going to have that controversy. Thing is that, okay, the decision was made in training camp as to who was going to start by the head coach. Okay. Once that decision was made, Mariota has to play himself out of that starting job. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
He got to play himself out of it. Now, he was on his way doing so. He was well on his way, but coach is sticking with him. See, it's not a situation where Arthur Smith is saying, well, we're going to evaluate the quarterback position. We're going to take a look. And, we're going to bring out a quarterback next Sunday. He's not creating any room for doubt. He's not creating any controversy. He's saying, good job. And then when he doesn't do a good job, he said, well, we'll work on that. Okay. So thing is that as far as Arthur Smith is concerned, I'm getting the vibes that Mariota will have to play his way out of the starting job. There is no scenario where you can just stick Ritter in, unless you're going to do him like Dan Reeves did with Michael Vick and Chris Chandler. That's the only way. I mean, that's what I'm seeing.
As I was coming back, as you were sitting here talking, and I'm looking down, I was looking at the last 2 weeks. Obviously, we talked about the 13 for 14 week this week, 2 interceptions. I'm not 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. Last week against Tampa, and a pretty good defense in Tampa, 14-25, 147, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. The first couple of games, in 3 out of the first 4 games, Mariota fumbled the ball and put the ball on the ground. He's basically been clean. He fumbled last week, but he recovered it. And I see the trend with Mariota being cleaner, making better decisions running, and not putting the team in a bad position.
Mm-hmm.
Had the trend of fumbling, awareness, the New Orleans game comes to mind more. Not being aware where you were could have kind of run that clock down a little bit. But the last couple of weeks, he's been clean. And as long as he stays clean, I think we're going to move further and further away from Ritter. Even in an experimental thing like you're talking about with the Chandler Vick thing, I get it. The difference in that, and I hear what you were saying about them being similar, I would have done that in a different place. When you were bringing Taysom Hill in the game with Drew Brees initially, that was a change of pace. If you're going to bring somebody in, you want to give the defense something different. Ritter and Mariota, I think they're going to probably somewhat similar, even though I think you're probably talking about a more youthful in what Mariota is giving you right now. Maybe a little bit more arm strength. I don't know. I think as long as Mariota stays on the trajectory of not turning over the ball and not hurting himself, and he has not hurt himself the last couple of weeks. Even if you go back to Seattle, and I know he threw an interception at the end of the half that really, was kind of incidental, because not incidental, but they were trying to get a big play at the half. I don't even look at that. I look at that as like a punt. But he's been taking care of the ball. It's going to be hard to get him off the field, in my opinion, as long as he still plays clean. Some people are going to look at 13 or 14, 129 and say, yeah, but he's not throwing for 300 like the guy who was here before. And you see how that was working out for him.
Yeah.
At least Mariota is stacking up some W's along the way while he's doing this. I'm gonna read these last couple of ones, man, and I got to get rolling up in here. Said, what do the Bengals look like right now? I think the Bengals are a decent team. I'm not thinking they're world beaters either. They're 3-3, just like we are. Probably a little underwhelming. Their offensive line still has problems. I'm gonna tell you what, their defensive line is still a force to be reckoned with. I would argue that might be one of the tougher front fours. We just went through Tampa, and of course, San Francisco was missing some folks, but Cincinnati can definitely put pressure with their front four. And if we can run on that team, if we can run on Cincinnati, which I think we can, and keep Joe Burrow off the field, I think we're going to have some success. I don't look at Cincinnati as any different than Frisco. So if Atlanta comes with the same game plan, it should be successful. I don't look at Cincinnati as that much of an issue. Alberto says Falcons run the ball 48% of the time, highest in the NFL. That's because Mariota's inability to push the ball down the field. So to your point, I understand your point of view for a change at the bye. And again, that's also, keep it in mind if we are winning. If we score enough points against any of these scrub teams, they may put Ridder in the fourth quarter. Calvin, that's true. And Facebook view says has kept Ridder off the field. Go ahead, John.
Well, see, that putting him in the fourth quarter, that's mop-up handoff duty, okay? I mean, you're not going to get any type of – you won't get any type of data on how he handles situations unless you put him in the game where the game is on the line, okay? When you put a quarterback in the fourth quarter, you're just handing the ball off. You might throw a 5-yard pass or something.
Not the way this team plays. I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, every game, even yesterday being up 2 touchdowns, there was still no definitive hand off the ball scenario totally yesterday. I know at the very end it was.
Yeah, I mean, now the circumstance that who was that to say that? Who was that to say that?
I don't know. It's a Facebook user.
Yeah, well, whoever you are, Mr. Facebook user. See, the scenario he's talking about is
no, that's Calvin. That's Calvin.
Calvin.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Calvin. All right, Calvin.
All right. Well, Calvin, this is the thing that I'm saying. All right. If you put him in the fourth quarter, or he's coming in for mop-up duty after the game has been decided, okay, thing is that you're not, it's one of those, we just pick you up and throw you in the water and see if you can swim. That's what's going to happen. Right. No matter how he gets in, that's what's going to happen. You're going to be picked up, thrown in the water to see whether you can swim. If you can swim on to the other side. If you can't, I'm coming to get you. Right. All right? Now, and that's the way it always is. That's the way it always is, Steve. And, mop-up duty is not going to get you the information that you need or the confidence or the experience that he needs out there in a real live fire situation where he has to make a decision as to where to go with the ball. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
That makes sense. All right, I think I cut that last one off. Yeah, all right. So we've been on here for almost 2 hours. I thought it turned out to be a lot more activity than I thought we did. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Jay is in parts unknown right now. Hopefully heading back to its home base pretty soon. And brother, I appreciate you as always joining me in here today.
Oh man, no problem. Hey man, I'll probably go on when I get back. I got some research I got to do because before I do go on, and I'll be talking with you guys later. And appreciate you having me, boss man.
You always I take it back old school every now and then just to let everybody know what we do on here. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube. Put the subscription there. We just passed 800 a couple of weeks ago, so thank you for continuing to let that climb. I was always happy to be in the Atlanta Bird Gang group. Appreciate the love and support, everybody. I am signing off. John is signing off. We'll catch everybody later on. Y'all be good, man. Have a great end of Monday. Enjoy the second half. 10-10 game, Denver and San Diego. Y'all take care. Peace.